Welcome to Vacuum Wars, and to a special video where I want to go over some future plans for Vacuum Wars and some of my recent decisions to include new narrators, as well as upcoming plans to introduce new faces to the Vacuum Wars channel. Over the last few years, Vacuum Wars has grown significantly. Depending on how you count, we now have between 15 and 20 employees. This includes people dedicated to testing and filming products, editors, writers, and a whole team of people who manage the Vacuum Wars website. And as some of you know, we've recently started using additional narrators besides myself on the channel. And I wanted to take some time to read you guys in on my thought processes and vision for the future of Vacuum Wars and why I'm making these decisions, especially regarding myself doing less of the narration. Probably the most important reason is that for the last few years, one of my main goals has been to develop systems so that Vacuum Wars can have a life beyond myself. If this is going to be a company that lives on for decades or longer, the value we bring has to be more than just my voice or my analysis. I believe that the true value of Vacuum Wars is our commitment to true independence, unparalleled rigorous testing methodologies, and extreme dedication to high-quality production. As you may or may not know, Vacuum Wars doesn't accept free products or do sponsorships of any kind with manufacturers. We've also designed a massive suite of tests and have been refining them over the years, specifically so that they would be repeatable, regardless of who is performing them. And we now have so much data on all these products that in itself is a valuable asset that helps us to compare apples to apples better than I think anyone else. But to be competitive in the long run, Vacuum Wars has to be able to produce way more than just one video a week, which was our typical schedule for most of the history of the channel. And I've known for a while that to make that transition, we would have to bring in new narrators. Past attempts to bring in new narrators were often met with angry or just dissatisfied comments, and I understand that. A lot of you are here because you trust my opinion and my voice. But again, relying solely on me isn't sustainable long term. And I have to admit that this whole thing might not work. It is a gamble. But I believe it's the best move for the longevity of the company, as long as we continue to hire great people. Levi is one of our new narrators, and I think he's doing a great job. He was my pick out of probably 100 options. And no, he is definitely not AI.
Hey, this is Levi, the new narrator. Nice to meet you.
In fact, I can promise you right now that I will never use AI voices to narrate Vacuum Wars videos. If you hear a voice from now on this channel, you can trust that it belongs to a real human. I'm also excited to start bringing in new faces for on-camera work. We've experimented with this over the years, like with my two nieces on our backup channel, but I think I'm finally ready to try this on the main channel with some all-new talent, so stay tuned for that. This also allows us to expand into different types of content. For example, one issue that we've been having recently is that because we buy all of our own products and spend weeks testing them and filming them, we're often one of the last channels to release content on a new model. In other words, our great strength, independence, is also a weakness in terms of speed. That's why we recently developed the new First Look series, which allows us to review the product's specs and features and compare it with previous models before we release the full performance review, typically a month or so later. The second reason I've been stepping back from narration is personal. I have a family health issue that requires a lot of my extra time, and it will likely continue to do so for the foreseeable future. I'll still be in the office, I'll still be doing a lot of the data analysis and writing, but even there, I'm finding that our veteran writers like Amanda, our head writer for Robot Vacuums, are becoming more knowledgeable than me on many of these subjects. So I'm asking you for your help. If you hear a new narrator or see a new face, consider a like instead of a dislike. Let them know that they aren't hated in the comments. Thank you all for your patience, and especially to the fans that have been around for years. We couldn't do any of this without you. Thanks for watching.